So yeah, there's a couple of things now that I've settled down and played Diablo for a little bit that I believe they can improve upon. Number one is New Game Plus. Like, once you get to Nightmare or, like, you know, the different world tiers, you should have the option to do the story again, or at least fight some of the bosses that are in the story that you battled it out with during main story that you just don't get a chance to anymore. I think that'd be good. That'd be a huge improvement, because, like, plenty of people would love to have the option, I'm sure, to refight some of the epic bosses on harder difficulties, or replay some of the crazy main story mission areas for experience rather than doing dungeons. That would be number one. A New Game Plus would be huge. You have the story skip. You can go fuck up Elias again. Yeah, or fight again. We're gonna do some spoilers here. Little spoiler. Some of the bosses. If you don't want me to say the name of the bosses, so just mute or skip ahead. Better be muted. It would be nice if you could fight Indariel and Duriel inside the dungeons, or maybe even have it as a random dungeon mechanic where you can choose to fall into Duriel's little hole, whatever you want to call it. Or Endariel is actually one of the end bosses of the dungeons, like the aspect of these, like aspects of these bosses as dungeon, like additional dungeon content would be really cool, because whenever you play a lot of Diablo 4, you kind of just fight the same reskinned dungeon bosses. Even though there's various different types of dungeons on the map, you're still fighting the same kind of bosses. So that would be something that I personally think they should do. The second thing that I would like to see is a better clan system, a better social system. They do it so well in World of Warcraft, and they do it really badly in Diablo 4. So this is our clan. We have a max 150 people. Actually, 148 people, so I can invite some folks into the game. I get to see who is on, right? What class they are, what rank they are, what world tier they're playing in. That's awesome. But I don't really get to see anybody who's offline. I don't get to see the last time they logged in, or what class that they last played, or anything like that. So I have no ability to see who needs to be G-kicked because they've been inactive. And I don't get any information that you'd expect from a Blizzard clan system. It's so poorly done that I don't even really use the clan system very much. Like, I can manage the clan, I can make it private, I can make it public, I can put a description, a daily message, and clan information. But that's it. So this greatly needs to improve. I would love a carbon copy of the World of Warcraft guild system added into Diablo 4. And on top of that, I would also love to see a carbon copy of the World of Warcraft group finder. Because it'd be awesome to just pull up a group finder and you're like, okay, I see there's like people that are doing a group for a Helltide. I'm going to join these guys. There's people that are doing Champion's Demise. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to join a group that's doing renown farming in Dry Steppes. These are all things that would greatly improve the game. Also, like, more chat channels, right? Like, Diablo is known for having a expansive social system, like trade chats, group chats, activity chats, even organized PvP potentially. You don't really get that right now. You just get this clan system that limits you to 150 people. That doesn't really work very well. In fact, it doesn't work at all. It just doesn't work. So this needs to improve. This is in my opinion poorly done, like an afterthought. There is a clan chat. So I can type in chat. I can see what people are saying. I think there's also a dedicated clan chat, and it shows the achievements. But yeah, not like something not really up to Blizzard's caliber, especially for a game that is known for social channels, trading, group play. So that would be my next criticism that I would love to see improved. Oh yeah, the music. I think the music is cool in certain situations, but it isn't as interactive as the older games. Like whenever you fight a boss, the music will kick in and it gets really intense. I think the music in Diablo 4, like we have the music on right now. So what you're listening to right now is the music for this area. It doesn't really adjust well for what you're doing. And it does have an impact. You know, music is very powerful. It can create the tone. It can set the vibe, especially during some epic boss fights. Even whenever you're fighting Lilith, the music is such an afterthought, where in previous Diablo games, it's one of the most recognizable features of the game. Like the Tristram theme, some of the epic scores for fighting the bosses, they just don't have it here. It doesn't mean that the ambient scores are bad. The ambient scores are good. It's just kind of all you get. It'd be nice to just keep some of the ambience, but it would have been also nice to get some of that action-packed demon-killing music that you get in Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. I frequently have put on a Diablo 3 music playlist and a Diablo 2 music playlist, and it greatly improves the vibe because you don't really have it in Diablo 4, which is kind of a disappointment. I think the items can be a bit too cookie-cutter, as in, like, gloves mainly focus on core abilities, and boots focus on, like, tertiary abilities, and different items kind of stick to their own lane a bit too much, where it would be kind of cool to have more randomness. Oh god, I just lagged it. I just lagged. Hold tight. It would be kind of cool to have more randomness with some of the skills that you get on various items. But at the same time, maybe that's done intentionally, so you just don't have somebody with like a level 30 bone spear or some shit. But yeah, no, yeah, the enchanting and aspect system is kind of rigid. It is. I think it's a good start, though. I think the system itself is good. I do like it. Yeah, it is a bit too rigid. It would be cool to loosen it up a bit, but they could do that in like, that's something they can work on with new seasons, right? I think the system works, and they have plenty of time to expand upon it and make changes. And I think they will do that. The aspect system is actually kind of awesome. It's not as crazy as customizing your abilities in Path of Exile, but I think it's kind of cool. I think it gets the job done. And also the gear crafting in the game is actually pretty fun. Like I actually enjoy sitting down and trying to customize and craft an item to fit my build, and kind of going through the gambles and seeing what we can piece together. So it's a good start. I kind of like it, but definitely could use some improvement. Oh yeah, World Tier 2. World Tier 2 needs more experience. I've been harping on this for days. World Tier 2 doesn't provide enough benefit for players to utilize it in the early game. You basically should, if you're playing hardcore especially, if you're not playing hardcore, it doesn't matter, you can play World Tier 2 to make it more challenging, but if you really want to make it more challenging, you should probably play hardcore. But I understand if you don't play hardcore because the servers are laggy, and you don't want to lose your character. Anyway, regardless, World Tier 2 should probably be like 50% experience, 40 to 50% experience instead of the 20, because right now the extra damage and the risk does not meet the reward, because you don't get better gear drops. You only get slightly more gold. And because the enemies have more health, it takes longer for them to die, meaning it's just slower for you to level. So yeah, I would like to see them maybe amp that up to 40 to 50%. Resists. There's been various resist videos being made. I'm not 100% in the know with them, but I do understand that resists are not that useful, and they really should be. People are opting to just use armor, full stop, instead of resist. These games can definitely be about having various gear sets for different scenarios and encounters. And then you also have this extensive elixir system that give you various resists for different types of encounters. So if the resists themselves are not powerful enough, then you have this entire system that's in the game that really isn't going to be utilized, because armor is more efficient. So again, also something that I think they can easily change. Or like balancing resists. Like a big part of other ARPG games is getting minimum levels of resists with your gear. It's something that you really need to consider in order to traverse the more difficult content. So it's a big, like, what we have right now is a situation where people are kind of just stacking damage and armor, which is fine. It's just like, yeah, the resist system just doesn't work as well as it should. Oh, okay. So I'm going to continue on. So the Nightmare Sigils are cool. But it... Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Yo, we'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at that in a minute. That's my first Ancestral Unique. I think more... It would be cool if there was more procedural generation in the dungeon creation. The maps are... The dungeons are too similar to each other. Maybe it does in the later game. I'm only level 70, as you can see. Just hit level 70. But the dungeons, even in the same zones, kind of have similar layouts, and like I was saying earlier, the same bosses at the end. So more randomness to the Nightmare Sigils, more procedural generation for the maps, because I don't believe there is much of any. Like, I think there's a few variations of different dungeons, but for the most part, they're pretty rigid, where it needs to be more random. And that's easier said than done. Like, maybe they didn't design Diablo 4 to be like that, so that could be kind of hard to do, but something that needs to be done, I think. Because I think the game is great, so I'm just kind of cherry picking. This is just like my actual critiques of what I think the game could improve upon. There's, like, I love this game. I think it's awesome. I love the art style. I love the combat. I think they did a very good job. So if they could just, like, there's so much potential for more here. The last thing I will say is the death mechanics, or the leg out mechanics. So I believe in the beta, whenever there was a loss of connection, your character instantly teleported back to a town. And this could be seen as being exploitable by cheaters in hardcore that just Alt F4 or like instantly leave the game in a difficult scenario, avoiding the need for a scroll of escape. However, not having that system in place is killing honest hardcore players that are getting killed by lag in situations that are out of their control, simply because the servers are unstable, or maybe their internet goes down for some reason, you know, that's out of their control. I feel like for the sake of just the hardcore playstyle and the risk, they should go back to the way it worked in the beta, where if there's any sort of instability of any kind, you just get you get disconnected and sent back to the last town that you're in. It's kind of unfortunate that there's so many players that are losing their characters because of lag, and they can't really do much about it. Oh, and also gems are kind of weird. Gems are weird because you always get them back. They don't really get destroyed, and they don't sell for anything. So every time you salvage an item, you get your gems back. You can unsocket them for free. It's just kind of a weird system. And then you can create better gems, of course, but you just don't lose your gems. All right. Well, anyways, guys, that's my critiques of the game that I am otherwise really enjoying.